It's a family. Come on, you put a little.
In total, we have 3 time rounds. So the first round is going to be appetizers, of course. That's going to be 20 minutes long. Entrees are going to be 35 minutes long, and desserts are going to be 25 minutes long. As far as the ingredients go, chefs can use any of the ingredients, well, they have to use all the ingredients in the mystery basket. They don't necessarily have to use all of them, they just charters. They can also start things like their dessert. So they don't have to work on just the appetizers and appetizer.
It's already open. It's just turn.
As far as our rules go, chef teams are considered done with the round when they're done plating the dishes for you guys. There's 2 plating stations, one on this side and one on that side there. Around 8 minutes before a round is over, I would steer clear of this little alleyway here, as well as this space, as the chefs and their sous chefs are going to be going back and forth trying to get all this food out to you guys as soon as possible. As far as timing goes, if the chef is up to 5 minutes late, they will lose that time in the subsequent round. If they are more than 5 minutes late, they will no longer lose time, they will actually be losing a winning vote at the end. Speaking of voting, as far as scoring goes, we are going to be scoring 1 through 5, and each of the categories are your score sheets. Today we are taking into consideration taste, presentation, and creativity. We do not do any ties, and it's going to be very hard to judge all the styles of food. So if you are having a hard time figuring out who your winner is today, just think about what your favorite dish was, and go with that person. At the end of the competition, we're going to go around. That's when you guys get to have your food network moment, as I like to call it. And that's where we want to hear your feedback, the good, the bad, the ugly. At the end of that, you'll tell us who your ultimate winner was for the competition. We'll tally up those votes and declare our winner for the night. Okay? We do have a system that uses Fantanas to kind of dictate how many chef competition chef has won. This is say Orange Hudson table. They should have their phone back in front. Fantastic. So how many of you want so far?
13.
13. All right. And here, where are we at now?
I'm over the stage.
He
He has more than 13.
75.
I checked this morning, so I didn't.
Also, for the dessert round, I forgot to mention, even if the chef is 1 second late, they don't be a winning vote at the end. So up to 1 minute, that's 1 winning vote, 2 minutes, 2 winning votes. Housekeeping, we have 1 document, let's give you the 3rd, 4th draft. If anybody has any dietary restrictions, please let me know beforehand. This is one of the only events at Hudson that we do that we cannot accommodate dietary restrictions. However, here, I will go ahead and talk to the chefs to see what we can do. Worst comes to worst, if there is an ingredient that we can have in a particular round, so we just won't vote in that round, but doesn't mean the overall round. But yeah, we just can't guarantee that we'll be a proper contamination of the kitchen, so please let me know before we start the round. That's all I have right now. I'll take this over to AJ to go ahead and introduce the speakers.
Hi. For those of you that I haven't met, my name is Chef AJ. I have been a chef now for a little over 10 years. I know that seems like a long time. It's actually not. I have been cooking since before I reached this stovetop though. I grew up in a tiny little island in the Caribbean, Trinidad and Tobago. I went to culinary school at 14 because I had a full beard and I was able to fool university office. That's a true story. My friends call me Hotfoot because I don't know how to stop moving. It's actually taking all of my willpower not to like move things around. I love traveling, I love writing, I love teaching, and I love cooking more than anything else in the world. world. This is a unique job and it allows me to work on a crane club, which you heard of in the city. Before then, it's the first time I'm doing something. Before then, I worked for Permian in Miami, both locations there, and then before then, it was Hawksmoor. Was you familiar with British cuisine? I really love traveling and cooking. I've been to a couple other restaurants besides that, but I'm not really big on talking about that stuff. Feel free to ask me about it during the comments. I am backed by Chef Mexico over here, aka the Country Poppy. I'm actually really excited to work with him today. He's one of my favorite people to work with at Hudson Table, and I do say that a lot, probably because he's great staff. Everyone say hi.
Hi. I don't know why he's using my Instagram link.
Because it's cool. He wants to make it famous. Exactly. Yeah, for me, I'm gonna hand it off to my other chef today. Woo.
Hi, I'm Chef Guillermo. I've been working at Hudson Table for about 3 years, cooking professionally for about 16 years before culinary school. I studied electronics engineering for about 1.5 years until I said, screw this thing, I don't want to do it anymore. So I went to culinary school for 2 years, and once I graduated, I did an externship in a restaurant in New York City. It was called the Red Cat. I was there for 6 months, came back to Mexico, worked in a hotel for about 2 years. It came back in 2013, I think, and I just stayed here forever. I just didn't go back. I had my wife, a family, I have a baby now, so I have a cat, dogs, a lot of mouths to feed. Before Hudson Table, I worked in restaurants around the city. My last restaurant job was in upscale Italian restaurant in Soho called Altro Paradiso. I was sous chef there for about 1 year. I was also my master sous chef at Morimoto. I worked at Salmon Well. I was the reopening sous chef at Pastis, where I love the food, but I hated working there. It was just too much. Some other places here and there. I was born in Mexico City. And yeah, that's it for me. I hope you guys have a great time. Please feel free to come, ask questions. And tonight, I'm going to work with Erin, who also works as a chef here in the competitions. We have a pretty good record working together. We're going to keep it like that. We're here for a win. And yeah, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed the experience. Any questions, again, please come. And yeah, let's have a good time.
Alright, just a few more bits of information before we go ahead and get started. As you can see, the clock behind me, that's going to be ticking down all the time the chefs have left in round. I will be keeping track of any time overage on the stopwatch to take off these all around. Yeah, we really want you guys to get involved. So photos, videos, highly encouraged. If you're on social media, at Hudson Table is our handle. Please share your photos with us. We'd love to repost them. Also, you'll frequently hear me say 15 minutes chefs, 20 minutes chefs. Please feel free to get in on that fun as well. Remind your chefs how much time they have. Yeah, that's very crucial. And also, we have these wonderful tasting spoons that will be located at the corners of the counter. So if you are interested in tasting anything the chefs are making, they'll usually offer it to you anyways, which you can ask, and then go to town with these guys. All right? Utensils, we have 2 sets of utensils. One for the first round, second round. We'll go ahead and clear all of those out. We can separate utensils for dessert if needed. And then we also have Coke, Diet Coke, Sprite, Sandhill, Real Sparkling, available for sale. It's credit card only, so you can go over there if you'd like to purchase yourself. And then I'll be around to also refill your water, give you anything you need pretty much, all right? The more fun you guys have, the more fun we have, all right? So are we ready to go, guys?
Okay.
Okay.
Alright, Chef Guillermo, please let us know what we have for our appetizer.
So for our appetizer, we have a deconstructed salmon rillette toast. So I just baked I seasoned the salmon with oil, salt, baked it at a high, 450 at high temperature. Took it out, put it in the KitchenAid, shredded it, and then in there we added a little bit of sour cream, Dijon mustard, dill, chives, a lemon zest, mayonnaise, and then we garnish with an avocado puree and crispy capers, and then green apple, preserved lemon, and mint salad.
Theme for today's menu is going to be summer. First dish is we actually got almost the same dish. I'm not gonna sully Chef Guillermo by saying that. But the first dish is a salmon toast. I took our ciabatta, brushed it in duck fat, a tiny bit of brown butter, and some Malden. Baked that off. I didn't want any color on it because most of the color is going on the peaches and the salmon. Those peaches have been grilled and folded in with some white balsamic, black balsamic, and a little bit of grape juice. And the salmon itself was tossed in too many spices, but basically a spice rub, New Orleans style spice rub. Topped with a little bit of Malden, brushed with a little bit of butter, baked up, and topped with it. Now the lettuce you see there has been folded in with a house-made Caesar salad dressing. The Caesar salad dressing was made with black garlic, fine garlic, some Spanish dressing. I don't know how to pronounce it. We topped it with a little bit of Calabrian chili oil to sort of offset the savory and sweetness there with a little bit of heat, not too much. Enjoy! Woo! I hope you guys don't mind. Depends, I mean, or if you're not the person who needs to yourself, or if you want to have it all in one bite.
That I tasted both of them before. I still want one more, and they say, still what? I know. If I was making the money, what I would be black sheep from upstate.
My brother is
All right, question for you. Do you consider, if someone says they're from New York, do you automatically associate the city? I'm kind of curious. No?
Everybody I meet who is visiting New York City.
I've heard that
In
before.
fact, not even the 5 boroughs. New York City and Brooklyn. I'm not quite sure what Queens means. And definitely Staten Island. What?
That's fair. I understand.
So, yeah. But, oh, excellent.
Are you guys enjoying it? Any activities you guys let me know, right?
drink, we made, this is our theme for the musical summer. So it's called summer flavors. We have cocoa powder and mustard raw steak. There's a little bit of sugar in there, chipotle, and mustard, and Mr. Basket, cocoa powder. I don't remember. Grilled ass, put in the oven, and served over a roasted poblano pepper couscous risotto. That's why it's so green. And then we have a grilled summer vegetable salad. There is a lettuce, grilled lettuce, like over a low fire, grilled lettuce, grilled asparagus, grilled corn, and roasted spaghetti squash, dressed with a little bit of olive oil, lemon zest, and white balsamic vinegar. And then the sauce on the bottom is roasted red pepper emulsion. So everything was roasted right there. That's why it's so pretty hot in here too. So this outside, like it's so pretty hot because it was on the whole time. Yeah, that's it. Oh yes, I forgot. And the sauce of the steak is a Coca-Cola demi glaze. Coca-Cola demi. Enjoy, guys.
Virginia Beach in the morning.
One day they serve steak, because cafe serves steak in Paris apparently. And instead of doing a steak al pop sauce, they did something called, I believe it's called a le confond, something like that. Which is what I have served you guys today. This is my take on the steak treats. Only instead of the French fries, we did fried zucchini. The steak sauce itself is a combination of sage, parsley, basil,
basil cilantro, lemon juice, capers, green peppercorns, and butter because it's French sauce, of course it is. And some poached garlic for the first round. The steak itself is also topped with a little bit of black almond salt. Enjoy!
Thank you.
Oh, we have that. Oh. I know.
The water leaking off here.
Been infused with date syrup, a little bit of sea salt, and Coca-Cola, oddly enough. Any is it? Huh?
So we have a Coca-Cola couscous, like right over there, outside with a apple downward compote. So it's brown lime juice, lime zest, very delicious. And Chef AJ made a beautiful, awesome, amazing caramel sauce.
Piece of caramel.
Piece of caramel and some candy.
Challenge your perception of what you say for the game on the speed. Enjoy.
So, we made a zucchini cake, served over a peach and ginger coulis. There's also a little bit of caramel in there. And then we topped it up with a sour cream frosting. We spread it with some honey and vanilla. And top it off with salted caramel seeds, pumpkin and sunflower seeds, still pink, zucchini, pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin. Very good.